Call to order this Board of Education special meeting. Today is October the 23rd, 2017. I'd like to start with a moment of silence, please. And please remember all of our teachers and all of the personnel who impact our kids on a regular basis. And we also ask for guidance for the legislative folks who have big decisions to make in the future. Thank you all very much. Is Miss Julianne Latimer in the... Julianne, could you stand up, please, and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you, ma'am.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Julianne. The next thing we need to do is approve the agenda as it's listed this evening. Are there any changes, board members? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda as listed. Thank you, Dr. Sugg. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to student and staff recognition, Ms. Morgan.
Thank you. The first student that we would like to recognize this evening is a Bengate 5th grade student. He was our October Judges Scholar. Could I have Keon Zhang come forward, please? This young man was recognized out of all the Bengate Gators in the whole school. Come on up here, sir, and turn around and let them look at you. We're very proud of you and your accomplishments. And he was selected by his principal, Mrs. Harmon, to represent the Henderson County Schools in fiscal court for the month of October in the leadership. And Ms. Harmon, if you would mind to come forward and share a little bit of information about Ken. And let's hear a little bit about this student.
Thank you. What can I say about Ken? Ken is an outstanding leader at Bengate Elementary School. He was chosen by his teachers, and it was just simply confirmed by me. I didn't actually choose him. He was nominated and chosen by his teachers. Ken is an outstanding leader. He is everything that a true leader should be. He is proactive. He puts first things first. He does what he's supposed to do. And not only is he a good leader, he is a good friend. Ken has many, many friends, and he's a shining example of what we want all of our Bengate Gators to be every single day. So Ken, congratulations. It's well deserved.
Before we have you sit down, would you introduce to us who you have with you this evening?
I have my mom and my sister here.
Wonderful. Would you all stand and get recognized? And your accomplishments. I'm glad that you're a Henderson County student. Congratulations. Thank you. Next, we'd like to recognize 3 different students from Henderson County High School. We have a 2018 National Merit Scholarship Program semifinalist. Was Cole Privet able to be with us this evening? He has lots, as you all have met Cole before, after-school activities and things that he does, so we weren't for sure if he could be here this evening. But
He's an academic team.
I bet he is at academic team practice, working hard at that. We also want to recognize Hannah Farley and Shelby Pendergraft. Those 2 young ladies would come forward. They did not make it to the semifinals, but however, the National Merit Scholarship Program did commend them and send them a letter of recognition, and we are very proud of their accomplishments at Henderson County High School as well. Let's give them a round of applause. So let's start with Hannah, and I'm going to ask Hannah a few questions. And the main one is, what are you doing right now in high school? We're very proud of you all. It was interesting to hear that both of you all happen to be in the early college program. Congratulations, girls. Oh, next is all of our students are shining stars, but this young lady, I could tell the board that I met a couple years on a personal note when she was a student at Niagara Elementary School, and I went out there one afternoon, actually a couple afternoons went out there, and they had their student technology leadership program, and she was a member, and they needed folks to kind of do their trial run on before their competition. And so I happened to be in the group that went out there, and that was the first that I met, Julianne Latimer. But I also recently got news just a few weeks ago that she obtained a perfect score on her math assessment. So to equate that, that's kind of like a 36 on the ACT kind of thing in the math world. So could we have Julianne Latimer come up and get a round of applause for her accomplishment? Which we are very proud of. So I'm assuming because you were a Niagara student, you've gone on to South Middle School and on the academic team, maybe? Yes. Tell me some other things that you like to do with your time.
I'm in the math counts program at South, and Mr. Deasman's awesome because he's a really great coach. And then I like to draw and read.
Wonderful. Great round of applause for this wonderful Mom. Can Mom stand for a round of applause as well? So I have to ask, was the math test hard?
It took a lot of practice.
Okay, good. I was scared you were going to go, nah. What do we do next? Awesome, congratulations. All right, those are all of our student recognitions this evening, but we do have one more recognition we'd like to share. I'd like to recognize this evening, and this is one of our staff members. In the Henderson County Schools, you all know and are aware that we have 7 core values. And we live by our core values. We believe in our core values. And we have several different ways we recognize them. But there's a particular person that everybody in this room knows. And this person is, if you watch this person or you don't really watch the person, you just happen to always see how involved this person is in kids and in the community that surrounds the particular school that he is principal at. So tonight, I'd like to do a recognition for Rob Carroll. Mr. Carroll, if I could have you come forward. As he's coming forward, we're going to watch a short YouTube clip, but before she clicks go, what does Own the Outreach mean as a core value in the Henderson County Schools? Well, if you've ever seen the movie McFarland, you know Kevin Costner plays in it, and he is a coach that goes to a town. He's a football coach, and he goes to another town, and so he starts to coach football, but that's not working really well, and so as he watches the kids, he sees that the kids are really good runners, and he starts their first track team at McFarland. Very poor, high poverty level, and as he's working with his kids, he finally got 7 kids. This coach knows what Own the Outreach means because he spends time going to the kids' homes to meet the parents and to build relationships with them. And that in return gives lots back to his track team that he's trying to coach. And so this is a short clip. The coach has been to the house and had dinner with the family, and they're finished with dinner, and this is what happens.
Can you give me a hand with those cups? saying, can I help you out?
No, gracias.
David, could I ask your father something for me? You know what, just tell him it was an honor to be invited into his home.
Dad, he said it was an honor to be invited into your home.
Tell him I say thanks.
I thought you.
I get by.
Thank you for your hospitality.
The coach went there that night to convince the dad to allow the son to continue to running track, but their family beliefs said that the child needed to work after school and not run. Long story is they came up with a compromise, but when I think of Own the Outreach in Henderson County Schools, it's something like that. That when there is conflict or there's disagreements or misunderstandings, that you go and find those solutions. And that is exactly what Mr. Carroll does at South Heights and what he has done for years. So Mr. Carroll, I know you don't like this much, but come up here. The outreach. And just a few weeks ago, he was in the newspaper with the governor at the Audubon Kids Zone. And he truly does it because of his belief to help kids and help families. You all know Mr. Carroll started college visits years before we really even understood what that meant, and home visits way before we started that as a district. So if you think of somebody and you want to think of our core value, Own the Outreach, it is this guy who rolls up his sleeves, knows every kid in his building, knows where every family lives, knows the family dynamics, and works with them to make those kids successful at South Heights. And I just wanted to do a board recognition for Mr. Carroll because you rock on the outreach. Absolutely.
And then we'll let Mr. Carroll talk.
I won't take any time, but the people that really roll up the sleeves are back there when it comes to Audubon Kids Zone. So I want to introduce them just really quick. Our on-site leader and knower of families and builders of relationships is Miss Tammy Sutton back there. Right in front of her are Stevie and Fletch, and they're kind of members of the Audubon Kids Zone by proxy. And then right next to them is Susan Overton, who works at South Heights and runs our after-school educational services. And right next to Susan is Miss Star Huff, who's the actual first East End employee of the Audubon Kids Zone. So we're creating jobs. And then right back there behind her, former South Heights student, even though she said she doesn't remember me as principal, is Chantel, that didn't hurt, is Chantel LaPlante, who's volunteering, who's going to make someone just a great employee here in the Henderson County Schools. Let me say one more thing. Audubon Kids Zone, I think it's going to be something that really just helps not only the East End, but Henderson County Schools and the community as a whole. And I really appreciate your leadership and just kind of giving me free reign to work with these people, and you know we're doing good things, and that means a whole lot. So thank you very much.
There they are.
Thank you, Ms. Morgana. Moving on to public participation and recognition of guests. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board this evening? Hearing none, we'll move on to, we need to, recognize our student ambassadors that are with us this evening. Park Sites and Ellie Parker. Appreciate that. Moving on to approving the minutes from the prior meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review those minutes? And are there any changes? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the minutes as listed.
I'll
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Mike.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Moving on to reports. I believe our first one is the architect report. Mr. Craig?
Good evening.
Push it till it turns green there.
I turned it off.
Good evening. I'd like to bring you up to speed on where we are on the projects that we started trying to accomplish this summer. We've made some progress, thankfully. Big Gates, the asphalt project there, has been completed, and everything went smoothly. They did that over fall break. At East Heights, the front asphalt has been completed. They will complete the rear asphalt in the spring. We put in that contract so many cubic yards of material to be replaced, and they did have to replace some existing bad material, but they did not exceed the amount we had set aside. So we should get a credit back on that piece. However, it will be there until the second phase is done before we process that change order. On the roof, they have started, and we have been able to work through the issues with the roofing with KDE. And what we're going to do, if you are out in the front parking lot, at the circle entrance on the left-hand side is the addition. On the right-hand side is the existing original building. On the original building, they actually have two existing layers of roof. And they've got the original layer, they've got a overlayment of insulation and plywood, then they have another layer. So we're going to have them remove the layer of roofing and put the new roof over that. And then on the new addition, when I say new addition, we're talking very, very many years old, they're going to do the tear-off. So we're going to get some credit. We're not going to do the tear-off on that. So we'll get a credit back. As they started to do the work, we did find some bad deck on the original building that wasn't included. So it'll be offset a little bit with that. And as that progresses, we'll come back to you with the differences. At the South Middle School, we have two pieces going on there. One is the track, and we've had our pre-construction on the track, and they're in the process of getting that started. It should be started here in the next few days, if not the end of this week or next week. The auditorium where we're doing the lights, we ran into a snag there. The light that was specified, the contractor could not get that as a retrofit light to fit into it. The design engineer has been working with the manufacturer and has found a new light to put in its place. And the contractor is actually supposed to be there tonight to see if he can get that light installed. So as that progresses, we'll be back to talk more about that. At the transportation building, we did have our pre-construction meeting there, and I think they'll be starting that here in the next few days as well. And that's the concrete over at the bus garage. At the high school, there are two pieces there. One is the tennis courts. They started pressure washing on the tennis courts already. They're going to be back tomorrow to finish that up. We're going to come over and have a pre-construction on Wednesday at 9 a.m. to get the crack repair started on that piece. And I think they're aware of an event a running event that may be out there, and they'll be able to work around that as well. The doors or the entrance into the high school, that work is scheduled to be done during Christmas break, and so we're processing shop drawings and things of that nature. So come this Christmas break, they'll do the work. It'll be the same thing with the bleachers at North Middle School. They'll do that during Christmas break. We've got that scheduled. The bleachers themselves are being manufactured, so those shop drawings have been processed. With that, I know we're getting ready to go to Spotsville, and I'll do a little bit, and I'll let John follow up with Spotsville, but Spotsville is progressing. I think the Mason, for the most part, is doing better. They're getting more block laid. It is starting to take shape. They're getting more bar joists and roof deck and things of that nature put in place. The gymnasium now is pretty much dried in. So they still have to put the roof on it, but the deck's in place. They've got the felts done. So it continues to progress, and hopefully we're going to meet our dates. So,
Anyone have any questions for Craig?
thank you all.
Thank you. Moving on to the Spotsville update, John Hagan Codell.
Good evening. Craig kind of touched on it there real quick, but this past month has been a good month. Masonry, we actually have 2 masonry crews on site now, working both ends of the 2-story classroom wing. So that work has definitely ramped up. Structural steel contractor came on site last week. They're now dropping bar joist decking on the classroom wing. And like Craig said, the roof, the gym roof is basically in the dry. They need about another day and a half or so. We should have the roof in the dry. Hopefully, within the next 3.5, 4 weeks, we'll have the whole south side of the building in the dry. That's the cafeteria and the kitchen, and it's some miscellaneous rooms as well. If that comes to pass, we will have gained about a month back on the schedule. So this month is good. And we just need to let it hold for a little bit longer, and some more manpower. We're still trying to get some more out of the masons, but things are progressing much better than they have the last couple of months. So that's good. Most of y'all had a chance to meet Randall Johnson before the meeting. He's our on-site superintendent going forward. Anytime, feel free to stop by the job site. Randall can give you a tour, answer any of your questions. I think you'll be very pleased with him. So, before I go on to the change order, any questions about the job itself?
Are they still working on Saturday? Is that kind of their plan?
That is. I haven't spoken to them this week to confirm that this coming Saturday, but that is the plan, yes. Any chance we have to make up a day, we'll take them up on that. You do have 2 change orders tonight. They both go hand in hand. One is an add, one is a credit. I believe the net, if I did my math correctly, $6,900. Can't read my own handwriting. $6,906.51 net add. This is some multiple items that Hazex has done over the past few months. It is a total of $23,317.51. One of the items was removal and replacement of some unsuitable soil at the entrance drive. Another one was reworking of the existing island as you pull into the existing school out there. That'll actually go away and be paved over, widening out that entrance. And then the majority of the cost was some storm drainage changes we've been able to make, which is the result in the credit of $16,411. Got a huge credit back on the material cost. That was due to an existing gas line that we had to avoid, and also just some design improvements that the architect was able to come up with. So we've been trying to whittle on that over the past few months to get it to be an equal wash. We just haven't been able to do that. I appreciate Hazex's willingness to work with us on that. We've kind of strung them out a little bit, but it is added value to the job for sure. Hopefully we'll have some more.
May I say a comment right here, John Hagan? The change order 3-3 for the $23,317, that is the piece of it is a piece of the $60,000 that we gave Codell permission. It's not in addition to that. That's that some cost that we approved when we started to worry about the unsuitable soils and things like that.
Just so you know, the remainder of that will be on next month's agenda. We've now passed that portion of the job, and there'll be a change order to Danco for their portion of that unsuitable soil work. And it's $14,000 and change. I forget the exact number, but so we still
Kind of all falls in that
right.
category, right?
So we're still well below the $60,000 that you guys allowed us to proceed towards.
Any questions for John Hagan before we look for a motion to approve this change order? Hearing now, I'll look for a motion to approve change order BG 15-01 for Scottsville.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms.
Second
Tracy.
that.
Thank you for the second, Dr. Parker, Mr. Wright. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Change order approved. Anything else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to the athletic report. I believe Mr. Chad Thompson is taking Jeff Corsi's place. Don't tell Chad, don't tell Jeff, but I think they're looking.
I don't hate him, what'd you say? My mind's everywhere today. We'll talk later.
Say that. Let it go, just let it go.
Mr. Corsi sends his regards. He's actually at volleyball. They had the drawing on Friday, and volleyball has their first game this evening being played at Trigg County. The personnel report, the following coaching positions have been filled. The swim coach is Mr. David Mushrush. Girls track is Samantha Martin. Boys tennis is Mark Andrews. Girls tennis is Mary Kate. Bass fishing team is Chad Lander and Tony Rutledge. And baseball is Adam Hines. For the softball, see, my mind's not even right. Fall sports, volleyball, they are 22-14 currently. They are the district champs of our district. The all-district team was Casey Chikowski, Libby Dockemeyer, Hannah Watkins, Emma Gillum, and the academic all-district were Casey Chikowski, Libby Dockemeyer, Emma Gillum, and Sophia Margalot, Asha Nally, Kaylee Norman, Maggie Vincent, and Hannah Watkins. They are currently starting to compete in the Region 2 tournament, starting tonight at Trigg County, and they are taking on UHA at 7 this evening. If they win this evening, they will play Wednesday evening, depending on whoever makes it on the other side, and then the championship will be held on Thursday evening at 7 at Trigg County. Lady Colonel Soccer, their record stands at 15-5-2. They were the district champions, and also they competed in the regional championship last Thursday evening and won the regional championships. All district team are Carly Crafton, Maddie Griggs, Marissa Sauer, and Maddie Tompkins. Academic all district was Katie Bickers, Carly Crafton, Trinity Edwards, Hannah Farley, Ashby Greenwell, Maddie Griggs, Aubrey Hall, Preston Hazelwood, Caitlin Honeycutt, Hannah Jones, Riley Lovell, Isabel McChesney, Camry Oates, Cecilia Palumo, Kate Rush, Abby Roberts, Marissa Sauer, Maddie Tompkins, Kayla Wayne, and Whitney West. The all-region team, first team, was Katie Bickers, Carly Crafton, Maddie Griggs, Marissa Sauer, and Maddie Griggs was crowned the Region 2 Player of the Year. They will play in this year they're calling it the first round of the state tournament, which is now, in terms of basketball, like the Sweet 16. So tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at Colonel Field, our girls will be taking on Bowling Green High School at 7 o'clock in the first round of the girls state tournament. So come out, support the girls soccer team. It should be a really good evening. If they, when they win tomorrow night, they will be playing in Lexington on Saturday. So come out and support the Lady Colonels tomorrow night. Our Colonels soccer team had a fabulous year, ending up a record of 16-4-2 as district champs. They lost in the semifinals of a region. If you didn't get to Hopkinsville to see that game, you missed a fabulous game. All-district team was Cartel Gilbert, Caleb Coons, Sam Cloutier, and Eduardo Zeron. Academic all-district was Spencer Bartow, Lucas Butler, Samuel Cloutier, Andre Cruz, Adam Gillum, Keegan Knight, Reed Mattingly, and David Toribio. The all-region team, first team, was Armando Zamaripa, Michael Karen, and Max Warren. Second team was Aaron Wayne and Jacob Russ. Cross country, they are competing in the regionals on October the 28th at Marshall County High School. Football varsity is presently at 4-5. Their regular season game ends. Their last regular season game is this Friday against Owensboro at Owensboro. First round of playoffs are next Friday, the 3rd, at Colonel Stadium versus Meade County. JV is currently 3-3, and freshmen are 6-2. Peyton Carter in girls golf was the individual regional champ and also qualified for the state girls golf championship, and she finished 10th in a tie for 10th overall in the state at their last competition. All winter sports have officially started with practice, and Henderson County High School continues to be in compliance with all KHSAA bylaws, Respectfully submitted, Mr. Jeff Corsi. Questions?
No, thank you, sir. That goes to prove that you can do sports and be a smart kid too. There are a lot of academic kids on those lists. So
That
I'm
is the
proud of those
that
kids.
is the expectation.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to assessment data. Ms.
You have
Morgan?
quite a bit of data in your board packet, so I just typed up a few bullet points for summary, and then I'll be glad to take any questions that you might have. As you are aware, the 16-17 school year is a transition year, so our data that we receive does look a little different. Our 17-18 school year, the current school year that we're in, will also be somewhat of a transition year, moving to 2018-19, where the state will have the new dashboard ready to go and hold us accountable and our students accountable for the new assessments that we will have. School districts and the schools individually did not receive this year an overall score, component scores, or classifications like proficient or distinguished. So that can be a little bit frustrating for us as much as it is for parents and community folks. Percentage of the students, the data did show us this, that the percentage of students scoring proficient and distinguished in all the content areas, reading, math, science, social studies, and writing, and in elementary, middle, and high school levels, in all of those levels, content areas, Henderson County Schools scored higher than the state average. We do know that. We're very proud of that. We were able to look at school trends over 3 years, just to specific achievement points, gap points, and growth points. And remember, points are different than percentiles and different than percentages, somewhat of how it was reported in the past. Some schools increased in all areas. Some of our schools increased in 1 or 2 areas. The point here is that the principals and the staff at each school intentionally look at the raw data to see what was the direct impact on student learning. We are digging into each school's individual raw data for our focus in moving forward. We seem to have fared fairly well in growth and proficiency for all. Our area that we feel we really have to look at moving forward is the gap area and how they will look at gap going forward. They've added a couple of areas as well, but we know, looking at the data that we have and looking at our map data, that is truly our focus. In the future, we know the measures will be different. You have a front and back explanation of Kentucky accountability at a glance and a dashboard. Farther down on our agenda, we're looking for possibly a November work session date for a couple reasons. But for one, is I'd like to spend 15-20 minutes with you all to show you what the Kentucky Board of Education has finalized and approved for the dashboard moving forward. Help us get an look at that. Things that we've already implemented and put in place, our principals have met with all of their teachers at grade level meetings, looking at our data. I've met with all the schools in 3 different settings, large group settings, where the principals brought their full leadership team, along with Kim White, Joe Swanson, Nancy Gibson, and Bonnie Galkey, to look at the new law and what that will look like. Our next steps, we have meetings on our calendar where schools will come into the district office and just meet with us and take that raw data that we have from our current scores and plug it in the best we can to the new system to see how that filters out. But there are some things in the new system that we don't even have data for yet. But where we can plug it in, we're definitely going to look at what that will look like. So really kind of in summary, the percent of students scoring proficient and distinguished exceeds the state average. We're pleased with that. We've seen growth in the area of growth and proficiency. Very pleased with that. We do have to look specifically more detailed at our gap areas. That's kind of a broad summary, but I will be glad to try and answer any particular questions that you all might have.
Board members, anyone have questions or comments? Ms. Alvarez?
I do. I have a praise, actually.
Most school districts have the problem in the area of math. And we have really got that under control. Not that we can't do better and grow even more. So I appreciate the fact that, Ms. Stanley, you're working on reading and really focusing in that area, not only with personnel, to hire as leaders of teachers, but also, looking at the curriculum and everything that they're doing for reading. So just, I don't know if the public understands that, but across the state and across the nation, really, math is the issue. And we have really worked on that the last several years. And just, I know it's not any one person, and a lot of people that aren't even here anymore, teachers that have retired, and it's just been an incremental building. So just hats off to our math scores.
Thank you, Dr. Sutton.
Thank you, and I will share that we did hire our reading coordinator, and that is Stephanie Smith. She's a former kindergarten teacher from East Heights, and so we will welcome her. Sorry, Miss Ogden. We stole a great one, we know.
Ms. Morgan, I have a question, and this, please don't ever want to take this the wrong way, because our scores are great, and compared to the state averages, as Dr. Suck said, we've knocked most of them out of the park. However, I have seen questions in the media and online where they're asking the Kentucky educators, we have proficiencies, but we're still in the 60% mark. We're not up in the 80s and the 90s. Is there, other than inching our way forward, do you ever see to the point that we will be at that 80 or 90% proficient mark?
Sure, but we also have to look at what the scale is. 6 years ago, our scale was from 0 to 140, and now our scale is 0 to 100. And so we're not really sure where the new scale will fall out either. It might measure it very differently. So, but I guess to answer your question the best I can, do we have room for improvement? Sure we do. Sure we do. And do our principals and teachers want to close that gap down? Sure we do. So do we ever see that we will get there? Yeah. You can see in math we've progressed faster.
Take the same tack towards reading, we'll get there. Okay. That was just, like I said, and that's not a question for me because I totally believe that, but to kind of answer the naysayers that I hear, that answers my question. Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on to old business. Where are we at here?
Maybe.
Yes. OPC Committee, Mr. Steve Steiner.
Yes, ma'am. Last board meeting, you all elected Butch Canty not to facilitate the hearing report or the hearing meeting for OPC, and we conducted that on October the 18th. Based on that hearing, going through the steps that KDE requires, our recommendation is at the bottom of the page of the information that you have. It's our recommendation by the hearing officers that the new facility plan developed by Henderson County LPC and adopted already by you be approved as a district facility plan for the Henderson County School District going forward. And then we will send a copy of the board minutes that way, pending your vote to accept this.
Any questions for Mr. Steiner regarding the LPC hearing information? And thank you for everyone who worked on that. We appreciate that. We do need to, is it ratify that?
It's a recommendation that you accept the plan. I know we've already accepted it at the last one, but for some reason we need to accept it again after we have the hearing.
Okay.
Based on the comments. There weren't any comments that were made at that.
Okay. So I need to look for a motion to approve the plan.
I'll make a motion, we accept the district facility plan hearing report as presented. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Dr. Sugg. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Moving on to November work session. Ms. Morgana?
Well, Madam Chair, could we do calendar committee? We need a recommendation, that's okay, I'll just go with that one. We need a recommendation from the board on who would like to serve on the calendar committee. Mr. Steiner's gonna put together 11-member calendar committee.
It's a new committee, it's a new process, it'll be 11 members, like she was saying, and one of those members needs to be a board member. And we wanted to start with you all to get your person, and then I'll fill in the rest of the gaps and be able to hopefully present back to you by November a suggested calendar so that we can move forward.
Do you have food at your meeting?
No, ma'am. Cindy will not allow that.
Okay, never mind.
I'll volunteer then. Even though he doesn't have food, I'll bring the food.
I'm coming with mine.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll look for a motion to nominate Mr. Mike Waller for our calendar committee. I'll make that motion. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Dr. Sutton. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, you're it, Mr. Mike.
I know how to figure out which committees to serve on now.
I know, I saw what you were doing there. Okay. Now moving.
Exactly. I should have fought for that one.
Okay, November work session. There are 2 items we were not able to put on the agenda, well, 1 item we were not able to put on the agenda this evening because it was not ready in time by our auditors. But yet Cindy needs to have information turned in by November 15th. So could we have a work session scheduled either on, I've got several options here, November 1st, 2nd, 6th, 7th, or 8th.
I can't do the first.
First is out, so we're down to the 2nd, the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th.
Later the better.
Okay,
The later the better in the month, the later the better in the day. Will it be the 7th?
7th,
7th, is anybody, that's a Tuesday?
and
Oh, the 8th, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to. 8th is fine with me. Do we want to do 6 o'clock? Mr. West, 6 o'clock good for you? Okay, 6 o'clock on, what? Whatever time. West is 5:30 a problem? Would you prefer 6? Either one? 5:30 is fine?
We're gonna have food at that meeting.
seeing how Cindy's doing it, the auditors are coming.
I'll
So.
bring food. Okay.
So we did 8 o'clock at 5:30.
No, November 8th.
Oh, 8 o'clock at 5:30.
Yeah.
November 8th,
Be up at 8 o'clock.
sorry, November 8th at 5:30 for the auditors to present the audit report. And the second agenda item would be 15 minutes on the new accountability system.
Okay, also, council dates, while everybody has their calendars out.
Hoping for maybe December 5th and 7th. Usually we split schools and do that in 2 nights. Would the 5th and 7th be appropriate for the board members?
November?
December.
I was like, wait a minute. 5th and 7th? Okay. Anyone have any objections to those 2 dates? That's a Tuesday and a Thursday?
We typically have food.
So everyone can sign up to come.
Mark me down.
My question is, what time do we typically start? Because I don't remember that.
What time do we start, Mr. Steiner?
Actually, on those, we start fairly early. Like, I want to say supper was 4:30 to 5, and then we start at 5, because it,
Here, wait, last year.
yeah, I think it is. And I do think last year, if I remember correctly, we had a board member on one of the evenings wasn't able to join us until almost 5:45, which is completely fine. And then on the next evening, one had to go a little early. So we can be very flexible. You all can be flexible with your times as long as there's 3 here at all time.
Yeah, I had to start
At 5, and I think we had a light supper at 4:30. Start at 5.
So that's okay to be dark?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just don't expect food if you don't show up.
Mr. Ball will get you some food, don't worry.
Okay, so councils is set for December 5th and 7th, beginning at
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
With a light supper at 4:30 and set up in the kitchen just to come and go as you need.
Okay. 4:30 for food, 5 o'clock for meeting. Okay. Okay. Moving on to certified evaluation appeals panel appointment. Ms. Ginger?
It's working now. Board Procedure 03.18 addresses certified evaluation appeals panels appointments. It's a 3-year term, and it is time to appoint new members, which is also appropriate since we've moved from the PGES system to a newer, simplified evaluation system. In September, the certified staff nominated and voted on members, and certified staff members appointed a representative, Sarah Estabrook and Nathan Grace. Their alternates were Steve Garner and Ed Class. The policy now asks for the board to appoint a member and an alternate. Certified members that are interested in this are Mark Andrews, who's a science teacher at Henderson County High School, and Beth Roberts, who's instructional coach at Henderson County High School. So now I ask the board to nominate a member for the certified appeals panel, as well as an alternate to serve on this committee. This is one of those committees where you hope that they never have to meet, but you have to have it in place just in case.
So you need a board member and an alternate board member? No.
No.
These two people.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The board has to vote on who will be the member and who will be the
So one
alternate.
will be the, okay. Board members, do you all have any preferences to which is the member and which is the alternate? No?
Names again, please.
Mark Andrews and Beth Roberts both are at Henderson County High School.
I vote we do it alphabetically. I make the motion, we nominate Mark Andrews as the member and Roberts as the alternate. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Wilson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, and they will serve 3-year terms, so we'll see you again in 3 years.
Okay, cool. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. We have 8 items on here. Approve retirees resolution, review and accept administrative procedure for visitors to school, approve student overnight trip request, approve grant applications, approve bid recommendations, approve items for surplus, approve use of school buses, and approve shortened day for one special education student and one student with a 504 plan. Is there any items that need to be addressed or pulled from the consent agenda? Any discussions? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you all. Moving on to financial, the treasurer's report. Ms. Cindy Hedger?
And the treasurer's report for the month ending September 30th included total receipts of $3,877,662. and total expenses of $5,857,724, for a net decrease in all funds of $1,908,062. Any questions? Again, this is typical for this time of year.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I respectfully request your approval of the treasurer's report as given to us tonight by Cindy Cloutier.
I look for a motion, we approve the treasurer's report as read.
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Treasurer's report approved. Moving on to paid warrants. Also, Ms. Cindy.
Okay, the paid warrant report covers the period of September 19th through October 23rd. It includes total payments of $2,804,816. Any questions on any of the paid warrants?
Hearing no questions, Madam Chair, members of the board, I respectfully request your approval of the paid warrant report as given to us tonight by Cindy Cloutier.
Look for a motion. Dr. Sugg. Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Pay the bills, Ms. Cindy. Let it also be known that we have received information regarding personnel actions. No action is needed on that. And we thank you all for coming. We are going to go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.